How different is life inside the Cowboys organization compared to the rest of the NFL? That question came up again after former Dallas Cowboys receiver Patrick Crayton shared a story that honestly says a lot about how players view Jerry Jones' franchise. But beyond the story itself, Crayton also made another point that may matter even more for the Cowboys entering the 2026 season. He believes Dallas can fix its defense much faster than people expect. Before getting into the football side of things, though, Crayton's comments about the Cowboys' culture stood out because they came from personal experience. During an appearance on the House of Haymaker podcast with Ben Rogers, Crayton explained how playing for what many call America's team changed his expectations around the NFL. According to Crayton, Dallas players become accustomed to a level of comfort and support that simply does not exist everywhere else in the league. "I think when you play for America's team, you get spoiled," Crayton explained during the interview. Importantly, he made it clear this was not intended as criticism toward the Chargers organization. Instead, he was highlighting how massive the Cowboys' operation feels compared to many other teams around the NFL. And honestly, the example he gave was surprisingly simple. Crayton recalled arriving in San Diego after spending 6 seasons with Dallas. One day after practice, he went to grab a few Gatorades from the team fridge. But unlike Dallas, the refrigerator was locked. He said he needed permission from the trainer just to take drinks home. According to Crayton, he was told he could only take 2 bottles because the organization did not want to waste sponsored products. For him, that moment felt almost unbelievable because of what he had experienced previously with the Cowboys. In Dallas, he said players routinely walked out with entire cases of Gatorade after practice without anyone thinking twice about it. To Crayton, the contrast represented more than just drinks in a refrigerator. It represented the overall scale and mentality of the organization. And this is where the conversation becomes interesting, because whether people love or hate the Cowboys, one thing almost every former player says is that Dallas operates differently from most franchises. The resources are larger. The attention is larger. The expectations are larger. Everything around the team feels amplified. Crayton is not even the first former player to describe it this way recently. Jadeveon Clowney said something similar after arriving in Dallas last year. According to Clowney, the Cowboys provide an environment unlike any other stop in his NFL career. Considering he has played for multiple organizations, that comment carried some weight. Of course, critics would argue that all the comfort and resources in the world do not matter unless the results improve on the field. And that is the real issue surrounding Dallas right now. The Cowboys are still trying to recover from a disappointing defensive season in 2025. Dallas struggled badly on that side of the ball, allowing 377 yards per game and finishing near the bottom of the league in total defense. For a franchise that entered the season with major expectations, the inconsistency became impossible to ignore. At times, the defense looked talented but disconnected. Communication issues showed up repeatedly, especially when offenses forced Dallas to adjust quickly before the snap. That is exactly why Crayton believes the solution starts with culture and simplicity. During the same interview, he explained that players cannot play fast when they are overwhelmed mentally. In his opinion, too many schemes and too much terminology can slow down a defense instead of helping it. And honestly, that idea makes sense in today's NFL. Defenses already face enormous pressure because offenses move faster than ever before. Quarterbacks are identifying coverages quickly. Coordinators constantly attack communication weaknesses. If defenders hesitate for even a second, explosive plays happen immediately. Crayton believes the next defensive coaching staff must focus on clarity first. He specifically mentioned new defensive coordinator Christian Parker and explained that the challenge will be implementing concepts players can understand instantly on the field. The faster players communicate, the faster they react. And the faster they react, the more aggressive the defense becomes. That part is important because confidence changes how defenses play. When players hesitate, they become reactive. When players fully understand their responsibilities, they attack. That difference often separates average defenses from aggressive, disruptive units. Crayton also pointed toward recent examples around the league where culture shifts created immediate improvement. He mentioned teams like the Texans and Bears as examples of organizations that improved quickly after establishing clearer identities. Now, whether Dallas can actually accomplish that remains the biggest question. But the front office clearly believes the roster has enough talent to compete right away. The Cowboys made major defensive additions this offseason, especially in the trenches. Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark give Dallas significantly more size and power on the defensive line. Rashan Gary adds another experienced presence off the edge. Meanwhile, Dallas also invested in younger talent through the draft, including safety Caleb Downs and edge rusher Malachi Lawrence. On paper, that sounds promising, but talent alone never guarantees improvement. That is probably the biggest takeaway from everything Crayton discussed. Facilities matter. Resources matter. Ownership support matters. But eventually, every NFL season comes down to execution, communication, and trust inside the locker room. The Cowboys already know expectations will be massive entering 2026. That comes with being the NFL's most visible franchise. Every weakness gets analyzed harder. Every losing streak becomes national news. Every coaching decision gets debated constantly. At the same time, though, Dallas also understands the opportunity in front of them. If the defensive culture truly improves under Christian Parker, and if the new additions fit together quickly, this defense could look very different from the unit fans watched last season. And honestly, Patrick Crayton's comments may have revealed something important about the Cowboys organization overall. Players clearly feel the difference when they arrive in Dallas. The resources, attention, and support create a unique environment around the franchise. Now the challenge is turning all of those advantages into consistent results on Sundays. Because in the end, Cowboys fans are not judging the organization based on Gatorade bottles or luxury facilities. They are judging it based on whether this team can finally put everything together when it matters most. And that is why this upcoming season feels so important for Dallas. Do you think culture and simpler defensive communication can actually fix the Cowboys' defense in one offseason? Or are the problems deeper than that?